right, thank you. Good evening, everyone, to the Homewood City Council meeting for January 13th, 2025. Before we call the meeting to order, we're gonna have the mayor handle a proclamation observing Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month. So, Mayor.
Come on up. Y'all come on up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're fine. No, y'all stand wherever.
I'm speaking to a local celebrity.
So let me just read this proclamation. Whereas human trafficking is a public health issue and crime that harms the health and well-being of individuals, families, and communities, often across generations, and whereas nearly 25 years after the passing of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, an estimated 27.6 million people are subjected to human trafficking globally, with cases reported in every U.S. state and territory, including throughout Alabama. And whereas human trafficking can happen to anyone, but certain populations are at greater risk, including people affected by abuse, violence, poverty, unstable living situations, or social disconnect. And whereas human trafficking is connected to many other forms of violence and exploitation and often shares common risk and protective factors such as lack of resources and unsafe environments. And whereas strengthening communities requires collective action to reduce the conditions that contribute to exploitation, build resilience, and create environments where people are protected from human trafficking and other forms of violence. And whereas the City of Homewood is committed to ensuring that those impacted by human trafficking receive services that are trauma-informed and responsive to their individual needs. And whereas a successful response to human trafficking requires a coordinated community-wide response that includes collaboration across sectors and with those who have experienced human trafficking firsthand to ensure that services and programs are effective and meet the needs of all survivors. And whereas every individual, family, community, and organization can help raise awareness, prevent trafficking, and support survivors by learning how to take action. And whereas the City of Homewood supports partnerships to comprehensively address the issues of human trafficking and create trafficking-free zones. Now, therefore, I, Alex Wyatt, Mayor of the City of Homewood, Alabama, do hereby proclaim January 2025 as Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month, reaffirming our commitment to strengthening communities, preventing trafficking by increasing awareness, improving education on human trafficking, making resources available for individuals and communities impacted by human trafficking, and as a trafficking-free zone, building diverse public-private partnerships to support a more coordinated, comprehensive response to prevent and combat human trafficking. Y'all are welcome to say something if you would like to. Come on up to the microphone though, so everybody can hear you.
Hello, everyone, council, mayor. Thank you guys for having us. We sincerely thank you guys because this is a bad situation. I'm not sure if you're aware of what happened to my daughter, but my daughter was a trafficking victim. Guy got her and sold her through 5 different states and put on heroin and cocaine at 16. And this is one of the places that they brought my daughter to when they were selling her out of the hotel. So it's very vital that we know the signs and we talk about these things and about our missing persons. So we collaboratively talk to a lot of people and work together as a team and with others like yourself to prevent trafficking from happening. We thank you guys and we hope that you have an amazing day and keep raising awareness. My name is Jasmine Deloach, sorry.
Jasmine, how is your daughter doing? Last year when you were here, you were still kind of going through a tough time. How's she doing?
We're still fighting for her. She was with her trafficker, and he went on a killing spree. So she's still in Lee County Jail on capital murder charges, but we got advocates like ourselves and people that's in legislators that's fighting for her and others, and I believe that she needs help, and I pray that we get her help. And I don't want this to happen to anybody else, so I'm making it safe to where we get her the help she need before she is released to help her. Yes, ma'am.
Who wants to take the proclamation? Say who.
I'm gonna do the Instagram one first. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we'll do it on the tape. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then get one for us. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. Okay. You got it.
Thank y'all.
I would like to say one
Yeah,
thing.
go ahead.
I'm Mary Beth Thomas. I'm the Executive Director of Prescott House Child Advocacy Center. We have people from a variety of agencies that work together, from HICA to Family Court. Ms. Deloach, who is an advocate as a result of her daughter. We can't do all the work ourselves. We collaborate together, and it's very necessary for us to work together. But we need you, and we need you to be able to stop abuse and human trafficking. And so I just challenge everyone to take the steps that it takes to get trained, to learn, to contact our agency, contact HICA, contact Family Court. There's a plethora of training available for cities, for individuals. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Go ahead and call the meeting to order tonight. We're going to start with an invocation from Margaret Norman, Director of Jewish Community Relations Council. And if you'll stand, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance right after that.
Am I leading the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay. I'm sorry, I haven't done this before. I pledge allegiance to the flag. No. Okay, I'm so sorry. Rewind, everybody. Okay, I'll do the prayer first then, and then I'll do just a few words about the JCRC. So I selected a prayer that we actually say every Saturday in synagogue at Temple Bethel, where I attend. And it's called A Prayer for Our Country, and I've picked just an excerpt to share with you this evening. Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessing upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. Adonai, God whose spirit is in all creatures, we pray that your spirit be awakened within all the inhabitants of our land. Uproot from our hearts hatred and malice, jealousy and strife. Plant love and companionship, peace and friendship among the many peoples and faiths who dwell in our nation. Amen.
Place the flag. Attention, salute, pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if I can offer just a few brief words about the JCRC, I know that I haven't had the chance to meet all of you, although I've enjoyed meeting some of you, and I know we actually have a meeting on Wednesday, which I'm looking forward to. And I just also have to say I'm so glad to have been here for this proclamation and to hear about the important work of this group. I know many of you met my predecessor, Joyce Shevin. I've been in this position just since this past June, and really all I want to say to you this evening is, you know, at our heart, the JCRC is a connector and collaborator and a resource, a bridge between the broader Birmingham area community and the Jewish community. And I hope that you all know my door is open, and I'm here to be that resource and look forward to getting to know all of you. So thank you for having me tonight, and hope to connect with all of you in the future.
The door is always open. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on to roll call, please. If you'll call roll, Mr. Seegers.
Yes, sir. Counselor Gwaltney.
Here.
Gear.
Here.
Allemon.
Here.
Wolverton. Sims. Here. Brant.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Nelms.
Here.
Andrus.
Here.
Harden.
Here.
President Jones.
Here. We have 10 here, I believe. We have a quorum established. Next, we have a reading of the minutes from the council meeting of December 16th. Do I have a motion and a second to approve those as distributed and dispense with the reading?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, Counselor Smith made that motion, and Counselor Nelms seconded that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. Okay, board vacancies. We have a couple of these. Actually, we have really two and then one for city manager. So the first at-large park board that closed today, and I believe we're going to look at interviews for maybe next week.
Yes, we have 3 candidates who have applied for that open position, which is Mr. Brandt's former position. And we'd like to try to schedule those interviews maybe for next Tuesday. Does Tuesday work for y'all next week? Most
Yeah.
of us?
It does.
Tuesday? Okay. So if we could reach out to the candidates and see if next Tuesday would be good for them. And since there's 3 of them, maybe start at 5:30, and we could probably be done by 6:15.
Ooh,
You think?
no. Park board? I think an hour at least,
Okay.
don't you think?
Yeah.
20
sure.
minutes each? Yeah.
So 5:30 is, yeah, that's fine.
Start at 5:30? Okay.
And finish by 6:30, yeah.
Okay, wonderful, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for coordinating that. Next, we have the Ward 3 Beautification Board that closed today. Mr. Segrist, I don't believe we had any applicants, did we? Okay. Would you like to extend that?
Yes. Could we just reopen that for 4 weeks? I guess to the first council meeting in February.
Okay. Look at the calendar real fast.
'Cause-
That would be February 10th. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. So without objection, we will open those until the 10th of February. Okay, and then this is really not a vacancy, but I know the committee is working on the city manager that closed today, and they'll be working towards interviews for that.
And I'll talk more about that at the end during my
Okay.
comment.
Very good. Okay, wonderful, thank you. Additions to the agenda. We have one addition that I know of, and then one change. And that is 18, adding to committee referral, 180125, request to present insurance renewal, coming to us from Margaret Ann Pyburn of Cobb's Allen Hall, coming to us from the mayor, and that's going to go to finance. So that you can add that to your otherwise large agenda. So that'll go into committee referral. And then also, one other change would be, we're going to have 141124. We're going to send that back to finance.
Yes, and
That'll
so
go back to finance.
I would make a motion to take that from consent agenda and send that back to the finance committee.
Okay, I think we can just do it with the
Okay, we can
approving the amended agenda with those 2 changes.
Got
So are you moving for that? Okay,
Oh, yes, I've moved for the amended agenda,
Okay.
to approve the amended.
okay, perfect. And seconded by Mr. Harden. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0, our amended agenda. Okay, so you can see the first item, or the consent agenda items, with the exception of 141124. And so do I have a motion to approve the amended consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I believe that was Counselor Allemon. made that motion, and then Counselor Gear seconded that. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. Okay, old business, one of our shorter old business agendas here. It will not be that way next time. Starting at the top, 09/12/24, public hearing set for tonight at 6 p.m. for consideration of tax incentives at the edge. Coming to us from J.J. Thomas. If we could have a report from the Finance Committee, Counselor Smith, that was from the 9th of December
Yes,
of last year.
it's been a while. We're going
Yes.
to get a refresher here in a second. At that December 9th meeting, we voted 4-0 to refer this out to the full council without a recommendation, pending the public hearing that we scheduled for tonight, January 13th. The motion was made by Counselor Gwaltney and seconded by Counselor Harden.
Thank you for that report. I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. We have comments from the public, and you can come up and go ahead and make your comments, and then we'll see if there are any other comments from the public.
Good evening. J.J. Thomas, 710 Morris Boulevard in Homewood. I'm before you tonight requesting a tax incentive for a project called The Edge. If you're not familiar, we built a redevelopment on 815, 817, and 819 Green Springs Highway. We turned a former tobacco and Gold Seafood into a new development containing now 9. We just signed a lease for our last space a couple days ago. 9 new businesses, retail, fitness, and restaurant, large community green space, covered stage, and just a really fun, family-friendly development. And it's a development that we were inspired by seeing in other places at the beach in other states, and we just thought it would do really well in Birmingham, specifically wanted to bring it to Homewood. A little bit more about it. The project costs around $6 million, a little over. It's a driver for tons of jobs during construction, and now that construction is complete, we're estimating it'll have 16 full-time employees amongst the businesses, 71 part-time employees, and a payroll of over $3 million a year. We also expect it to generate over $3.6 million in direct and indirect sales, use, property, and business license tax over the next 10 years. This includes around $200,000 that we estimate per year in annual tax revenue for the city from the development. We're here before you respectfully requesting a tax incentive consisting of, and it's a pay-as-you-go tax incentive, 50% of the city's non-educational sales and use tax. So that would be 1.5% of that 3%. And again, that's only from sales that we bring to the city. It would be capped for a period of 5 years. And over that 5 years, the max benefit would be capped at $375,000. And during that 5-year period, we would propose a cap each year of $75,000. And last thing I just wanted to say is the $3.6 million that we anticipate bringing into the city in various tax revenue is approximately 10 times the amount of the request that we're here before you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Okay, are there any other comments from the public? Just make sure we cover that. Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And are there questions from the council? We have the resolution already prepared. Yes, sir, Councilor Alleman.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to visit us today. I think that the project has been a great addition to the city and Homewood in general, in the community. Just want to anticipate, well, I guess my question is, you've ran into some difficult challenges in the early going, right? And now we're having this conversation. How do we ascertain that we're making the appropriate request now so that maybe later we're not coming back again and asking for an additional incentive?
Sure. I don't know the right mechanism, but I'm happy to proffer this would be the one and only and final for as owner of the development.
Do you think that with the addition of the final tenant, does that change any as far as the forecast of when you may make your numbers? make the numbers in the.
Yeah, so part of so what we want to do is bring something that was done right and really well. And in order to do that in that particular area, we had to spend more money than we had anticipated. And then the operating costs of keeping it clean, keeping it safe, and keeping it at the level that Homewood and the community requires is a little bit more now than we anticipated. And that's partly because of the economy, that's partly because of borrowing costs, and that's partly just because of the high caliber that needs to operate in order to be what it needs to be in Homewood and continue to be family friendly. So the last tenant was anticipated already in that budget, and it certainly will help, but that was in the original budget.
Okay, great.
And
Councilor
JJ, I
Smith.
think you already basically answered this, but this is, normally we do this on the front end as opposed to the back end. So if you just want to explain why kind of doing it in reverse in this particular circumstance.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this particular circumstance, we wanted to build something that would be a catalyst for an area of Homewood that we thought was in need of a catalyst. And again, we wanted to do it in a way that was done right. So we tried to structure it and come after the fact to basically put our money where our mouth is and do the project and then come and be transparent and try to partner with the city in hopes that the structure of the tax incentive is a success only if we're a success for the city and the city becomes a partner with the development in a small way to get the development up and running.
Yes, Councilor Sims.
Councilor Jones, thanks. I just wanted to reference this as well, because Councilor Aliman did reference, any future considerations or projects or partnerships. So it's separate, but I do want to just go ahead for the sake of disclosure. We're also talking about sidewalk connectivity at the back of the Edge property. There is currently a sidewalk, that runs from Green Springs to Columbiana where there's a gap on the eastern side of the property. And so there is a future item in committee referral, which will go to finance for discussion next week to talk about that sidewalk connection, which will be on the city right away, will involve city funds potentially. Just want to talk about that as it relates to your question and disclosure, because that would be an additional item related to partnership and related to the development.
Yeah, that is correct. And that sidewalk, if the city saw fit, would be a city project. We would, of course, assist in any way, and it would basically connect Columbiana Road so that strollers, bikes, and walkers could not just get to our development, but to that entire corridor that the city has already spent multiple millions on. So, but I'm glad you brought that up.
The neighborhood's very excited about it.
Well, thank you.
That's what precipitated the sidewalks. People want to get to your property, so.
Yes, well, thank
So
you.
that's great. Okay, other questions?
I would make a motion for approval.
Second.
Okay. Counselor Gwaltney made the motion, and Counselor Alaman seconded that. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say,
Actually,
yes.
just to make sure that the proffer of this will be the only time, and that's included in the motion.
Yes.
That is correct.
Just want to make sure clarify.
Second that,
Thank you.
okay.
And second,
Yeah, and then, and the reason we're having a motion a second anyway is because your recommendation from finance was, without recommendation, so. So you're okay, both of you are okay with that proffer? Everybody straight? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's 10-0, that passes, and that's resolution 2501, our first resolution of the new year, so,
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
thank you. Okay, 11/12/24, request to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Life Safety Inspection Vault LLC for reporting of life safety inspections to the fire department. Chief Broadhead. We have a report from Public Safety. Counselor Gwaltney.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The committee met last Monday and voted 5-0 to recommend approval. The motion was made by Counselor Wolverton and seconded by Counselor Harden.
Okay, any questions for the Public Safety Committee? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0, resolution 2502. Okay, you can see the committee referral agenda. The only change we made was adding 180125. So we have lots of business coming to committees for next time. Do we have a motion to approve the amended committee referral agenda?
So moved.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Yeah. The tent item for Trinity was supposed to be on referral to special issues from me. It's not a rush, we can wait and put it on referral for the 27th. It's okay, we can do
I thought
that.
it had made it.
I saw a special issues item, but I don't think it was that. No, that's the annual stormwater report. No, it's not on here.
Okay, would you like to move to add that item as
Well, I would text
19?
Betsy. The event, Discovery is not until the first weekend in March. So if we put it on referral on the 27th, because it'll be, yeah,
So we'll have time to,
we still have time.
okay.
Yes,
okay.
so it's okay, we can do it, it's okay, we can do it and I'll just let Betsy know that we're gonna do it in
Okay.
February. Yep,
Okay,
it'll be
very
fine.
Okay, wonderful. So we're going to keep that as is. Counselor Gwaltney, you moved to approve that, I
Yep.
believe.
Yes, sir. I
didn't
did.
hear a second.
Second.
Second. Counselor Smith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes 10-0. Okay, other new business. 10-01-25, request authorize the mayor to sign contract and pay FY 24-25 budget appropriation for the Birmingham Zoo. I'll make some comments here. The next four items are all budgeted already, so I felt like instead of adding four new items going to finance, that we would just take care of these tonight, since we, had budget hearings and talked to the different groups. And so these are all budgeted. So the first one is for the Birmingham Zoo. We have a resolution prepared for that. Is there a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Counselor Smith, and then I believe that was Counselor Andrus. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That's 10-0, at 25-03. And Counselor Wolverton is here. And we'll move on to 11-01-25, request to authorize the mayor to sign contract FY 24-25 budget for One Place. Same item in terms of it being budgeted. Is there a motion to?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Counselor Smith made the motion. Counselor Sims seconded it. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. That's resolution 25-04. 12-01-25, request to authorize the mayor to sign contract to pay FY 24-25 budget for Meals on Wheels. It's budgeted.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Counselor Smith, and are you seconding that again? No, you're not, okay.
Second.
Second, Counselor Gwaltney.
I was just going to say that I'm going to abstain on this vote due to the Meals on Wheels is run through United Way of Central Alabama.
Got it, okay, okay. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Abstain. Okay, so we've got 10-01. That's resolution 25-05. 13-01-25, request to authorize the mayor to sign construction agreement with Duncan and Dearman for Station 3 addition. Chief Broadhead, this is also, you want to come forward?
This is the construction documents for the bid that we approved in finance. So Mr. Kendrick was able to look through them and said they're pretty standard, and I think we got everything changed to his liking today. So,
Okay.
exactly matches the bid as approved by the finance committee and the full council.
Perfect. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, Counselor Andrus made the motion, Counselor Nelms seconded that. Any other questions for the chief? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's the first 11-0.
Thank
It's resolution 2506. 140125, resolution to ratify use of Synovus Bank as bank depository and authorizing signatures of Alex Wyatt, me, and Bo Segrist. And are there any, we have the resolution prepared for this as well. Are there any questions on that? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I believe that was Counselor Gwaltney and Counselor Gear seconded that. Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 11-0, and that's resolution 2507. 150125, request for consideration of approval of vouchers for period December 17th through January 13th. This was a large run. Counselor Smith, I believe, Counselor Harden.
Yes,
Yes.
cede to Counselor Harden.
Yes, I had the pleasure of reviewing those. A little concerned on Saturday whether they'd be in there after Friday's snow, but they were. And thank you to Kelly. And I had a lot of questions, and luckily JJ was in the office working on a Saturday, so he answered all my questions. So it was great. We're going to miss JJ when he retires.
All right, great. So is there a motion to approve?
So I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, all right. Okay, Counselor Harden made the motion. Counselor Smith seconded that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 11-0. Resolution 2508. Did I miss anything? Good. And Mayor, turn it over to you.
That was easier than I thought. Told you I'd give you time. That was quick. First, glad everyone made it through the snow okay, and wanted to thank our city employees for all that they did during the snow, particularly the guys at the streets department that hung out and stayed over all night to make sure that the roads were as clear as possible. And our public safety guys who obviously are on call regardless of what the weather is. So thank you to all of them. One thing I wanted to do tonight was obviously the state auditor's report came out last Friday, and we have released a statement that is on the city's website, but I felt it was important to read that into the record. So that it was part of the record, so that's what I'm going to do. Excuse me. The City of Homewood has reviewed the limited special review by the Alabama Department of Examiners of Public Accountants of the city's financial system concerning both the use of city credit cards and a separate fraudulent misappropriation of funds by a former city employee. The city was the first to discover both issues and quickly began taking steps to improve Homewood's oversight of its accounting system. As I was quoted in the statement, just after we initiated our deeper dive and discovered troubling shortcomings in the control of city finances, we started the process of strengthening our policies. We have already met with the state examiners and appreciate their work because their recommendations will help us continue our efforts to make sure our finance department works more securely so that expenditures of public funds are properly tracked in strict adherence to sound business and audit standards. The city was the first to uncover suspicious movements of city funds after Robert Burgett retired as finance director in March 2024 and immediately reported them to local, state, and federal authorities. While an FBI investigation continues, Burgett is now awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to 3 federal charges of wire fraud. Insurance has covered $500,000 of the more than $947,000 that Burgett illegally transferred into his personal accounts, and the city is diligently working to recover additional monies. In October 2023, the City Council started a review of the use of city credit cards by city employees after possible irregularities were uncovered. Substantial personal reimbursements have already been made to the city. The city is conducting a review of an outstanding financial obligation of approximately $1,300 by an employee. Former Finance Director Burgett, who conducted the illegal wire transfers, is also responsible for almost $10,000 in disputed credit card charges. Both credit card cases are being referred by the state auditors to the Alabama Attorney General for collection. In November of 2023, the City Council voted to strengthen policies on the use of city cards, which included a reduction in the number of cards in use. Cards can only be used for official, pre-authorized city expenditures and not for any personal expenditures, cash advances, or alcohol purchases. Cards can only be used for eligible travel costs, including conference registration and associated fees, lodging, and transportation. Meals are limited to $75 a day with fully itemized receipts. Cards are not intended for purchases that can be made via normal purchasing procedures, except for emergencies or purchases personally authorized by a department head or the mayor. Card purchases will be audited by the Finance Department on a monthly basis. And infractions of the credit card policy can lead to disciplinary action and recovery of funds through a reduction in employee paychecks. Professional management oversight of the city was strengthened last September when voters approved a new form of government by creating a new position of city manager to take over chief executive duties in November 2025. The city has already started a search for an interim manager who could start in March. As President Jones was quoted in the statement, a full-time city manager will bring an experienced professional in public administration with budget management skills and significant supervisory experience to the city. This is a meaningful step as the City Council continues to review financial issues to assure that taxpayer dollars are correctly spent in an accountable manner. Again, that statement is on the city website for anyone to view it, but it certainly was important to put it in the record. I just want to thank all of you for all the work that you do. I appreciate it. It is well appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, comments. Councilor Gwaltney.
I do not have any items for public safety this week, so I will not set public safety to follow finance. And I have no comments this evening.
Okay, great. And when we do set committee meetings, we're not going to meet next Monday, so we're going to double up on the 27th. So we probably need to start at 4, I would think. Okay. Councilor Gear.
Yes, my only announcement is Arts Council meets tomorrow night at City Hall, 6 p.m., second floor, to begin planning for the new year. There's a fun concert coming up in April, so we'll tell you more about that later. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Alleman.
Yes, thank you. Just briefly mentioning that it really fills me with pride the fact that we support organizations like One Place and help folks who have experienced domestic violence and other forms of abuse, as well as commemorate Human Trafficking Month. And here in Homewood, I think that we live on the I-20 corridor and we see this work every day in my day job. And so I'm grateful that Homewood takes these issues seriously, and it's only more is needed. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Wolverton.
I believe I just have one item for public works, so I'll set that for after finance. I don't think it should take very long. So, and then I know that there were several people in public works that were out monitoring streets and in some cases applying sand or salt or something to help around town. So appreciate their work even when most of the rest of the city was kind of shut down. And just looking forward to for the new year here. That's it.
All right, great. Councilor Sims.
Thank you. There's 2 items in special issues, so I'd like to set special issues for after Public Works on the 27th. And as far as comments, the Beautification Board met today. We've started hosting those meetings at the Community Center, which has been great. Thanks to that team for coordinating with us on that. And actually, it's helped with our attendance. It just seems to be more convenient for members to get there during their lunch hour and attend those meetings. So thanks to Public Works and Berkeley, that team, for helping set that up for us. And we just kind of went through goals for the upcoming year. And there's a subcommittee structure for that. So again, thanks to our chair, Mary Michael Kelly, for her leadership. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Brandt.
Real quick, Alex, we think about your wife and you and your loss, so God bless you. Okay, miss you. Secondly, kind of 30,000 foot view, looking at I've just been entranced with this stuff in Los Angeles. I want to thank our fire chief back there and our police that are, and one member here, but that was a thriving community. It's much like Homewood, that Palisades area, if you've been there or not, but it could just show you how quickly life can change and just devastation. But we appreciate all we have, our first responders, and thank you for what y'all do, and love Homewood, Barry, everybody I'm new to the city council, but all this stuff, the credit card stuff and all, y'all have all done a lot of heavy lifting, but I think Barry more than anybody, and we all need to thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Smith.
Just a quick poll. If we were to start finance at 4 p.m. on the 27th, would that be difficult for people? You're good?
Are you thinking, Barry, we're gonna need 2 hours before the 6 o'clock meeting?
I have 10 items.
And then 4 other.
And some of them are like, yeah, it's gonna take some time. Okay.
Schedule it now.
All right, so I will hold finance at 4, and
My schedule.
y'all better show up, because we got a lot to do. As Walter mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, our application period for city manager applications ended today at 5 o'clock. And at that point, we have received 12 applications from a pretty diverse group. We are going to meet as a committee on this Wednesday in our council committee room, assuming that there's no one else in there, at 5:30 to go through the applications. Mr. Segrist is going to make us some packets of those applications so we can review those and come up with a plan for our first round of interviews. So we'll be doing that at 5:30 on Wednesday. And other than Happy New Year to all, that's it for me.
Thank you. Councilor Nelms.
I wanted to extend my condolences again to you and your family, and happy birthday, since we didn't spend it with you. And Happy New Year.
Thank you. Councilor Andrus.
I do need to set P&D, so it's going to be a full afternoon on the 27th, so I will set P&D to follow special issues. I want to thank the mayor for coming to our Kiwanis Club last week. Councilor Smith joined me, and we had a really nice lunch and got to listen to 2024, 2025, things that are coming. And Mayor Welch was there from Mountain Brook as well, and a couple of his city councilors, and Sam Gaston, of course. So we had a great lunch with them, and we appreciate you being there. Of course, I have to tell you all, if you do not have this on your calendar now, everybody get your pen out. January 17th, which is Friday, ribbon cutting, phase 2 of the Greenway on the Western Trailhead. We're gathering around 9:30. We're going to start the program around 10. Feel a little visiting and celebration and everything. We're going to have comments from the mayor, from our very own Jane Reed Ross, who is the visionary and the landscape architect responsible for the Shades Creek Greenway, and then from my coworker, Carolyn Buck, who's the director of the Red Rock Trail System. also a Homewoodian. So please make sure you have that on your calendar and join us. Guaranteed. They may not appear at that exact moment, but we have invited Sanford to join us because they're working with us with our owl signage. And David Faulkner is going to be there. So I've invited all of our senators, all of our representatives, Terry Sewell's office. So anyway, it'll be fun. And thanks to the chamber because they've really done a great job helping put this together. That's it.
And maybe some owls, I'm not sure.
Definitely some owls.
Okay, good. Counselor Harden.
Do we get Dunkin' Donuts too?
But, you know, you do know the trail runs Duncan to Duncan,
Yeah.
right? It does run Duncan to
I
Duncan,
got
so.
it. I appreciate the mayor's comments today about the things that have happened from our world with the credit cards and the finance. And I know Barry's the one that started this credit card probe because there was so much concern about all the credit cards that have been put out there over many, many years. But I also want to thank Mike and JJ and some of those people who were on the front lines right after Robert Burgett retired. And to think that from the day he retired to the day he was arrested was 10 days is off the charts in time. How quickly, and those are some people in that department, finance department, who worked nights and overtime just to figure out what was happening. 10 days is off the charts, and the relationships that Mike and JJ and some of us have, the police department with the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, all that helped us in a 10-day period to find the person who was guilty of it and have them in jail. And that is something that we need to make sure everybody understands.
Thank you. I was in L.A. last week, so I'll echo your comments, Mr. Brandt. Guys, it's devastating out there. And I was supposed to leave on Thursday, and my company moved it up because they were worried about LAX closing, and it's devastating. So thank you for the firefighters and all the first responders that are working on that. And on a lighter note, the snow was actually enjoyable. And the point is that I don't think children ever grow up when it comes to that. I decided to wake up my high school senior to, "Do you want to build a snowman?" from Frozen, and he came running out saying, "You're kidding me." And so it was a lot of fun, and we went down Mr. Sims at the end of the street and saw all the children playing, and we sat there and just looked and said, this is why we live in Homewood. Seeing all these children just having a great time and building a snowman and everything. Mine finally melted today that I made, but anyway, thank you for making this community special, and it takes all of us kind of working towards that, but we live in a great place, and let's not ever get too old where we can't run out and build a snowman. With that, we are concluded, and we'll see everyone at 4 o'clock on the 27th. We're adjourned.